Hey, this is Patrick from WorkHands, and today I'm going to take you through how apprentices and supervisors will handle OJT on WorkHands as part of the Metropolitan CC's apprenticeship program. So, first things first, everybody needs an invite into the program on WorkHands. So if you haven't got one already, it should be coming along soon. If not, make sure that the coordinator has the appropriate email for you. So once you get that email, it should prompt you to join now. You're going to go ahead and you're going to create a password. And then from there, we're going to just confirm some information about you, things, make sure that you're in the right place. So confirm that you're an apprentice. And we're going to ask you to go ahead and add a profile picture. This makes it easier for everybody to see who's in the program. I'll go ahead and finish that and skip it on my side. And after this, we're going to drop you on your dashboard. Now, everybody on WorkHands has a dashboard dedicated to them. As an apprentice, your dashboard is, tracks your information, your OJT, your courses, and things like that. As a supervisor, you see your list of apprentices, time cards they've submitted, evaluations they've submitted, things like that. So, welcome to the apprenticeship dashboard. We're going to get started. If you're doing this yourself, you can go through a quick tour. You're going to get a personal tour. So let's just skip that today. And this is what you'll see as an apprentice. So you'll see your OJT, we've got time cards. If you're at a hybrid program that tracks both hours and skills, you'll see evaluations as well. You'll see courses and a few other things in here I'll touch on later. Let me hop into OJT. Now this is a hybrid example, so you'd see both the hours that you're tracking as well as the skills. If you're in an occupation that just tracks hours, all you'd see would be the one chart here. Either way, they both operate the same way, so you should see green hours for approved hours or skill, or green in the chart for approved hours or skills, and you see red for where we project you'd be just based on your start and end dates. And this should be a good tool for you to see how are you doing. Are you keeping track with the total requirements? Are there any individual categories or work processes you're falling behind in? And just the nature of work is things are going to fluctuate, but this way nobody's surprised. You don't get to the end of the program and find out you really have to make up some skills or hours in one area of the apprenticeship. Now, for the hours side of things, you've got time cards. And I know that for MCC programs, you've been doing this either on a spreadsheet or some of you have been printing this out. Now, you can do this all on the computer or from your phone. So I'm going to show you on the computer. But once you're invited and sign up, you can go ahead and search for WorkHands in either the Android or Google apps or the Android or the iPhone app stores. Download our app, and you can just do this straight from the app as well. All of that, by the way, is just going to shrink down and look very similar to what you see on the website. So when you get in there, you may have some past hours that you've already filled out on a spreadsheet or a piece of paper. Let's just go ahead and fill these out for completeness. So you might get in here, you've already done May of 2020, but we don't have it in the system just yet. Let's just make sure it reflects reality. So we'll make sure we've covered some of the hours that were in there. And just to give your supervisor a flavor for this, we'll go ahead and submit to them. They may have already approved these, but we'll just do it again just for completeness. And there we go. Now that gets sent off. It notifies the supervisor. Everybody has a primary supervisor that it goes to. You could have other supervisors set up to approve. Only the one who's the primary will be set up to get notified. Now, when you're filling your hours out each month, we're going to give you a notification at the beginning of the month to let you know it's time to submit those hours. If you go ahead and submit, you don't hear from WorkHands again for another month. But if you forget, we'll give you a reminder about a week later, and we'll let you know if you start being overdue after that. Now, throughout the month, just like you might have been doing on the piece of paper or on the spreadsheet, you can track your hours each day. So let's say on Monday, it's the beginning of the month, we'll put in, I did 4 hours here and maybe another 4 hours there. And maybe I hadn't done this day, so we'll catch up a little bit in 2 and 2. This is going to add up all of your totals for each category. If you want to jump around by day, you can do that. And the same thing is true for supervisors when we go through this as well. And I'm just going to save that for later. And so you can pull this up, once a week and fill those hours out, or, at the end of each day. Just at the end of the month, we'll prompt you to submit, and then you can go ahead and send it off, and you're good to go. So for people who just are tracking hours, that's all you'll have to do. For anybody who's in a hybrid program that has a competency or skill evaluation as well, let me go and show you what that's like as well. So for evaluations, we're going to go in, And for those of you in these hybrid programs, you're tracking both the skills you accrue as well as the hours. Everything the same. You're going to actually self-evaluate and send to your supervisor for approval. So we'll go through and say, all right, I actually completed that first aid training we're going to do, but everything else we're pretty much waiting still. So I could save this later, but this is an older one. Let's go ahead and submit it so we can get that approved in the system as well. And same thing, if I'm doing this throughout the quarter, throughout the month, I can actually go ahead and update this right in the system. If I want to say, all right, I know that I did this today and this today, we could go ahead and save those for later. Okay, so that would be submitting as an apprentice. Now the other things you'll see here as apprentice, you'll see your course progress laid out. Now you don't have to do anything with this. We'll just give you a sense of what does the apprenticeship program have on you, and I'll show you if there's any gaps you need to make sure you fill out, or you might need to follow up with them and make sure this is all correctly reflective of what you've done so far. Now, supervisors, we'll pull that up. You should have your own account as well. Signing up would be the exact same. I'm going to pull in an example from Supervisor. So you should get an invite. Again, if you don't get an invite, make sure the program has the correct email for you. And you'll go through the same sign-up steps, but your dashboard is going to be a little bit different. So you maybe have one apprentice, you maybe have dozens. You'll see the time cards you need to take action on right here to submitted. The evaluations, if you have to deal with any, right here if you take action on. And a few other things. Let's go into apprentices as well. And you can see all the assigned apprentices. Now, if there are other apprentices in the organization, you might see them if they're with your employer. Only the ones you're assigned for will you be set up to approve, and only those ones where you're the primary will you be notified to approve. But we can go ahead and pull this open, and we can take a look in a moment at just exactly what the apprentice would see. So anytime you want, you can actually pull up just what we were looking at before and see their OJT charts and see their progress and things like that from the apprentice's perspective. We'll load up, let that load up. Now the main things you do in a supervisor, just like an apprentice, is coming in, and when they submit their hours or they submit their evaluations, is simply approving them. So we're going to click through here. And we try to show you just the things you need to take action on, so you see this filter. But if you want to see past hours, you can pull those up as well. But we're going to pull this up. Here are the hours we submitted. Everything looks right here. Or maybe you need to make an adjustment. You can actually make an adjustment if you actually, you know what, he's missing some hours, or maybe it doesn't quite look right, but you don't feel comfortable making that adjustment. You can actually reject those hours. You have to give feedback to the apprentice so they know what to do to fix it. And that way they'll resubmit and you can approve again. But let's just say everything looks good here. That's most of the time. We're going to approve them. And now the apprentice gets notified their hours for last month are approved. And they're all set, and you're all set until next month when they submit again. Same thing here. We could take care of that and approve that one as well, but I'll save that one for later. Now again, if you are a purely time-based program, if all you're doing is tracking the hours, that's all you do as a supervisor. If you're dealing with a hybrid program or a competency-based program where the apprentices have skills you're tracking, you'll just pull up one of these evaluations. Maybe we're not quite there. We actually have some more training we're going to do. So you can make any edits to their self-evaluation. And maybe you want to give a comment, I unchecked CPR because we have more training coming up. So you can go ahead and approve it, but with just that one comment and addition. There you go. So that's how you approve the time cards and evaluations. Now, if we go back over as a supervisor, you can see, again, the same exact OJT charts that I showed you before. You have access to see all this. The one other thing that could come up as a supervisor, maybe you're not the right person to be approving this. Maybe you've been on a rotation, you've changed, and you know what? It's not really me who should be doing this. I'm going to go and make somebody else primary. Maybe somebody who's not in this system, we can go ahead and add them. So maybe this is a new supervisor. If they're in the system, we'd see them pop up, but they're not, so we're going to go and invite them. So we can go and invite this new supervisor, and now they can be set up to actually approve all those hours as well. Give a quick refresh. So once they're in there, set up as a supervisor, they can approve. Now, if you want them to always be the person who approves, the primary supervisor who's going to get notified each time the apprentice approves. We're just going to switch this person over to primary. So we'll switch them over to primary. And now every unapproved time card, every future time card can be approved by them. In fact, if you want to reassign a whole bunch of people, we prompt you to do that. For now, we're just going to reassign that one person. So going forward, anytime this apprentice submits, it's going to go to that new supervisor. And that's that. Apprentices, you'll be submitting your OJT and any evaluations. If you have to deal with them on work hands, you can do that straight from your phone. You can do that from the website. Supervisors, same thing. You can download the apps and use it. You can use it on the website if you prefer that. Everybody can see the information in real time, so you all should be on the same page about what progress looks like and what comes next. And now if either of you have questions about how to use the system, we have support built right into the application. We have FAQs that you'll find throughout the application, but if you want to start a chat with our team, you can do so. We're typically on here from East Coast morning to West Coast evening. If we happen to not be at our desk for whatever reason, we'll get back to you by email, typically within an hour or so. And that's that. If you have any questions, like I said, please feel free to reach out, and we're looking forward to see you on Work Hands. Thanks.